That's why I will never get too hyped about the win after I win, because it's like you always got to do something over and over again till you're done. And it's always going to be somebody next, somebody next, somebody next. So I feel as though I don't have to prove myself to these people.
You know what I'm saying? So we are striving to be the best that we can be to be on that level again, you know? So, you know, you saying you want to do what you want to do, that's good. That's what you want to do.
That's the God in you that's trying
that's
to
good.
seek,
and,
you know?
And you give it back and give it thanks.
Gervonta Davis is giving his all in training for the Jake Paul fight, proving his knockout power comes from hard work and endless drills, not just talent. His workouts focus on power, timing, and stamina to stay sharp every second of the match. Meanwhile, Jake Paul is preparing for what he calls the toughest test of his career. He's sparring with top fighters like Shakur Stevenson, Raymond Ford, and Montana Love to boost his speed, reaction, and confidence before facing Tank.
So that's boxing at its finest right there. You heard it. They said it. Make that bad. Everything on the line. You know, that's old school right there.
Gervonta Davis is fully focused on building his strength and endurance. After years of taking hard shots, he knows how vital conditioning is in real fights. His workouts include drills for balance, posture, and toughness while adding more pop to his punches. Everything in camp runs at full intensity, pushing his stamina, strength, and mindset to the limit before stepping in against Jake Paul.
Inhale, box, exhale.
Ain't nobody breaking.
Box. Man, boom on that last break. Box.
Fight for it.
I got him.
Take shit.
Box.
Yeah, I felt it.
Good, perfect. That was your best run.
Jake Paul is deep in camp, treating this as the biggest fight of his career. To prepare for Gervonta Davis, he's working with elite fighters to push beyond his limits. Shakur Stevenson is one of his key sparring partners, giving him real-time lessons from one of boxing's best. He's also training with Raymond Ford and Montana Love to improve his speed, timing, and defense. Jake knows Tank is faster, smarter, and way more dangerous than anyone he's faced. So every session is about sharpening skills and building confidence for fight night. Gervonta Davis has earned his status through years of focus and sacrifice. Trainer Calvin Ford has seen him grow from a hungry kid to a world-class champion. Ford says success in boxing never comes by luck. It's built through non-stop effort, discipline, and consistency. Davis keeps improving every step of his career and continues to evolve. As the Jake Paul fight gets closer, the boxing world is buzzing with opinions on what this moment means for Tank's legacy.
It's just so much stuff. And me and Kenny was sitting there talking about the majority of it when he was little. We talk about all the stuff when he was little, and he started laughing like, "Dang."
When I get by myself, I always try to like think about like back in the day stuff.
Yeah.
But we can
I
tell.
just noticed that just now, me talking about it. But when I get by myself, I be trying.
No, we can tell.
Yeah,
When I listen to your interview, I like listening to your interviews that you do, and I can tell when you reflect back on certain things. You can see it. You can see it. That's when I think you at your peace, and you start reflecting back and you talk about.
When he say something that we told him long time ago,
and I said, "Damn, we like, damn, he did remember that."
Yeah, he remember that shit.
Yeah. I see Brody been calling you a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, as far as on the which card in China.
Veteran coach Abel Sanchez views the Jake Paul fight as a massive chance for Davis. He says most fighters dedicate their lives to boxing but rarely see major paydays. This fight, according to Sanchez, rewards Davis with what he's truly earned. Few boxers get such opportunities in their prime. He believes Tank deserves to take a fight that highlights his skill and secures his future. Even without a title, it's a moment for boxing to finally give back to him.
I don't like the fight, but as a coach, I think it's a good move for Tank Davis. I mean, I've seen too many kids go out of the sport with not a cent in their pocket. And I think that if Tank Davis takes advantage of a big payday like that, I think it's a ridiculous fight as far as a fight fan. But as a coach, I understand it. You have to take care of your own.
Yeah, you know, well, actually, now that we're talking about it, you're not the biggest fan of it. Fight fans are bringing up like, hey, you know, why did he go this way when there's Lamont Roach? Like, look how close that fight was. There was a draw. We were expecting a rematch in that fight.
Yeah, well,
What's happening here?
As much as we hate it, it hasn't become really a sport. It's become a financial sport. So he took it because it's 5-6 times more than he's going to make with Lamont Roach. That makes sense. I mean, anybody, ask anybody if they have a choice, they're going to take the money. Of course. He's got to take care of his people. He's got to take care of himself. He's got to take care of his future. That's the smartest thing to do. As a fight fan, I don't like it. But as a coach, I understand it.
Yeah, no, and I think anybody in that position, like, we got to, like, put ourselves maybe sometimes in that same situation. And I think anybody with, like, any, like, sense of, like, common sense would look at that and be like, wait, I'm making this much to fight against this guy that's only been fighting for 5 years compared to what could be maybe a really hard fight, and I'm going to make double, triple. Yeah, I'm going to go, let me do this little side quest real quick, and let me get this money real fast, and then...
Of course, you have to take care of your future, man. If it's offered to you, you'd be foolish not to take it, especially against a guy that is no threat to him.
Oh, well, I don't know. It's 50 pounds, Abel.
Yeah, but he's no threat to him. Tank Davis fights the way he fights. Understand that Tank Davis fights, he's probably one of my favorite fighters. I think I've said that many a times. Mm-hmm. He fights in a manner where he's fought all those big guys. Look at the way he throws his punches. Look at how he ducks down like if he's fighting a real big guy. Look at the way he fought when he knocked out Garcia. Look at where he puts his head and how he throws his punches. In the street, that's who he was fighting. He was fighting bigger guys than him. He was always a smaller guy. So he knows how to fight those big guys. He knows how to duck up underneath and throw those looping shots because that's who he fought in the street. At least that's my opinion anyway. He's always been the little guy, and I'm sure that in this...
Chris Algieri applauds what Gervonta Davis brings to modern boxing. He says today's sport isn't just about talent. It's about attention, star power, and fan energy. Whenever Davis fights, arenas pack out and the crowd expects fireworks. His knockout power keeps everyone on edge. Algieri says Davis represents a new era where skill meets entertainment. When Tank fights, it's not just a match, it's a show. He knows how to stay relevant in a time when engaging fans matters as much as winning titles.
And the face of boxing is basically... Yeah, the face of boxing now is based on if you sell and if people tune in and how many eyes are tuning in when you fight. Gervonta Davis had that. Jake Paul has that. Now they're fighting each other.
Again, these are created products. These are still created products. Jake made his name going to Walgreens and then making funny faces. You know what I mean? And it was just blowing up on YouTube and whatnot, right? I mean, that's how he started.
The world we live in now, dude. It's unfortunate. It's not like Sugar Ray Leonard, who was the best fighter in the world and marketable. It's not like Oscar De La Hoya, who was a gold medalist, great fighter, and marketable.
But what I'm saying is technology allows us to make, if I want to take this shoe off right here, and I say I want to make my Nike sneaker into the best product possible, and I got enough money to push it behind it. I put it all over your social media platform, and I put it all over your TV set and all over your phone and all over. You know what, bro?
Debate still surrounds whether Jake Paul's fights are truly fair. Carl Froch and Paulie Malignaggi believe they're not staged, but admit Jake often benefits from special conditions. They think he usually fights with edges that favor him and expect the same here, being bigger, heavier, and setting terms that limit Tank's power. Still, they agree Davis's skill can change everything. If it becomes a test of pure boxing ability, both believe Tank's experience and technique will rise above Jake's.
They realized, an exhibition, you could stage it and they couldn't take bets on it. So this is an exhibition. There is no betting on it. So that means, I'm not saying people are going crazy with the opinions, who's going to win, who's going to lose. You don't know what size gloves they're going to wear. You don't even know if they're going to stage the whole thing, because this is something that as an exhibition, it's not illegal to stage it. So I think this could be all kinds of crazy, wacky stuff. This is a bit of a circus, in my opinion.
Who would you think should win that fight? Would you think that Davis should be able to get in there, even though the size did 100 pounds? Do you think he should be able to do it?
If they don't stage it and don't kind of set up a sort of a mild sparring session, I'd say Davis has a chance. Depends on the size of the gloves. Because here's the thing, Jake is probably 100 pounds bigger than the guy. You know, that's a lot of weight, Carl. You know, you've been in a boxing ring, that still counts. And if you make the gloves small, Gervonta could technically hurt Jake even if he hits him. But the problem is, the gloves are small. Jake could also hurt Gervonta because Gervonta's so small. Gervonta's so much smaller than him, you know. So do you make the gloves big, and then really who's got that advantage? I don't know. You know, technically Gervonta's a lot better boxer, but he's so much smaller. I've stood next to Jake. Jake's a big guy. It's like I said, it's a bit of a circus freak show, and that's why I don't put it out of the question that this exhibition could be a bit staged in the ring.
That's fair enough. That's a fair point. That is, and actually,
people aren't talking about that enough. I feel like people aren't talking about that enough.
Well, he's threatening to sue everybody who talks about it and anyone who talks about it.
Well, that's because his fights have been sanctioned, and I personally don't think he has set up the other fights. I personally think, you know, like Mike Tyson, he had no legs left. You know what I mean? I to tell you the truth, I thought that was an easy one to bet and call. It was that Jake would beat Mike Tyson, and even some of these other fights, you know, they're smaller. Jake doesn't set up his fights. I think what he does is he stacks the deck against his opponents in those fights. So I wouldn't call them staged, but they're deck stackers. You know, so he has an advantage. In this situation, though, you know...
Shakur Stevenson breaks down the fight from a technical view. He admits Jake's size gives him strength, but says that alone won't win. Davis has battled world champions and proved himself at the top level. Stevenson predicts Tank won't rush a knockout but will fight smart, using speed, control, and precision to win rounds. He expects Davis to take a decision victory because Jake won't be easy to stop. Still, he's sure Tank's superior ring IQ will decide the outcome.
I mean, size will play some part of the fight, but if I'm thinking like I'm Tank, I'm probably just going to go out there and try to outbox him and use my knowledge and IQ against him. So I can see Tank just outboxing him and making it real easy.
Is there any way any realistic or legitimate way in your mind you could see Jake Paul winning a fight against Tank?
No.
No way.
Nope.
Not a lot of people have talked about Jake and say he's got good power. Not even, and I get anything could technically happen, but you don't even see a realistic shot where he could land one big punch and Tank being so much smaller, he just can't handle the power.
Nah, not at all. I think Tank is, he's been boxing his whole life, been boxing since a kid, so I doubt like that's going to be an issue or problem. I think Jake is good for where he's at, but I think it's just levels.
Do you see a more likely chance that Tank wins by decision or by knockout?
By decision. I mean, that guy's too big. I don't think that he's just going to knock that guy out. So I see him like outboxing him.
Could you see a realistic possibility where Tank could knock him out? Although more likely that it is, like you just said, decision.
Nah, I don't see him knocking him out, no.
Will you watch, Shakur? I mean,
no.
Obviously. No?
Hell no. Nah, that ain't really like... I mean, like I said, here's the thing. Like, I got two sides of me when it comes down to I got a business side, then I got a competitor side. And from the competitive aspect, it don't excite me for me.
Weight remains one of the biggest talking points around this fight. Some say it's unfair to match a smaller fighter like Tank against a bigger man like Jake Paul, warning it could risk safety. Others argue elite skill beats size, and Davis's speed and accuracy will neutralize the weight gap. Boxing history shows plenty of smaller fighters beating bigger ones through sharper technique and smarter movement.
WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Davis, who's unbeaten in 31 professional contests, takes on the self-proclaimed problem child Jake Paul, one of the most influential and marketable global personalities. Paul and Davis square off in Miami after doubts around the fight being sanctioned in Georgia triggered a change in venue. Neither fighter can weigh more than 195 pounds. The weight is perhaps the most surprising factor. Paul has boxed most of his career around 200 pounds, the cruiserweight limit, but did tip the scales at 227 pounds when he faced off against Iron Mike Tyson last year. Davis, much smaller in stature, competes at the 135 pound mark and has also won world honours at super featherweight.
And despite some discussions about possibly dropping down to 10 ounces, the pair seem set to wear 12-ounce gloves.
And in terms of distance, despite the exhibition tag, The fight will play out over 10 3-minute rounds with 3 scoring judges at ringside, but the result will not be officially recorded.
Trainer and ex-champion Robert Garcia says Davis is right to accept this fight. It's his career, his call. His only concern is timing. Garcia believes Tank still has more titles to win and rivalries to finish. Experts agree this matchup is more of a global spectacle than a normal bout. Jake Paul's fame draws new fans who rarely watch boxing. Some call that good for the sport. Others fear it turns fights into entertainment. Analysts think Jake may push for heavier gloves and higher weight to reduce Tank's knockout threat. If that happens, Davis might need to stay patient and break him down round by round.
But I don't know, what's your just take on the whole thing?
I'm not very interested. That doesn't excite me. I know it's going to do really good numbers. I know they're making a lot of money, which is good for them, good for Tank, because in boxing, that's what everybody looks for. I think it's, the good thing is they announced it as an exhibition, which is, I'm okay with it. Everybody does it. Mayweather has done it. Ali did it. The only thing, my personal opinion is Tank, they all did it when they had already accomplished so much. They already did so much. Mayweather did everything in boxing and accomplished everything. Muhammad Ali did the same, and many others that have done it. I think Tank never gave us the fights that we really wanted. Never really gave us those challenges. He never really challenged himself. He didn't give Rhodes that rematch, which he should have. Mayweather did it when he had a hard time with Maidana and Castillo. Right away, he did the rematches to prove everybody wrong, and look at what he did. He beat him clearly. So Tank should have done the same. He didn't. That I could criticize, but then at the end also, if you're making 30 to 50 million, I don't even know what he's making to fight, to have an exhibition against just Jake Paul, I would have asked. I would do the same.
No one would say no to that.
If I had one of my fighters get an offer to fight a big celebrity, a big YouTuber for $20, $30 million, I would probably do the same. So I don't blame him. It's boxing. At the end of his career, 20 years from now, nobody's gonna care how many.
Boxing analyst Bernie says fans focus too much on money when discussing this fight. He reminds everyone that Davis is already successful and set for life. What matters most, he says, is real competition. Fights that excite fans and keep the sport alive. Bernie sees this matchup as a clash between old-school boxing and modern fame. Davis is the traditional warrior, trained young, tested hard, and proven through grit. Jake represents the new wave, a star built by fame before experience in the ring.
It's I kind of don't really care about the fight no more. Starting to lose a little steam.
But I'm saying, if he stops Pitbull Cruz, right? Don't you think that people would want to see, Lamont and Tank more due to the fact that, Tank had a hard time with Pitbull?
No. I think people just want to see Tank versus Lamont because Lamont, he had a hard time with Lamont. It's just like Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. People just like controversy. People just like, you know what I'm saying? So people like to see finished business. They don't want to leave it unfinished. And that's what the intrigue is. They want people want to see finished business. So, you know what I'm saying? I think that's the intrigue of the fight. And it doesn't make no sense why they taking so fucking fight, Everybody keeps saying that, Tank getting the money, but is we getting the fucking money? Is we bidding up for the fucking money? Is he gonna give us some of the money? Are we waiting on him to feed us any bit? No. I want what I want. Fuck that. I'm selfish. I'm a fan. I want to see the fucking fight. I don't want to see no fucking circus. You know what I'm saying? So where everybody's saying, oh, he back, who gives a fuck? I hope he already rich as fuck. He already won 30 million in the last fight or something. He got more money than I'm ever gonna have. I don't give a fuck. I want to see the fights. I'm a fucking boxing fan. I want to see a fucking fight on.
That wraps up today's video. Stay tuned for more updates and inside stories on this explosive showdown.